Hello, my name is Sigmund Freud, and once again I am stepping in for your instructor, Pat Johnson, and today I'm talking about a very important part of my personality theory, the psychosexual stages of development. Now, when you see the word psychosexual, do not necessarily think intercourse. When I say sexual, I am saying where physical gratification is on the body at a certain stage of development. And so the person's personality develops and grows, and it has its different characteristics based on what happens to our child from birth to adulthood. And so my theory goes through different stages of where sexual gratification, in other words, where bodily pleasure is focused at that particular point in time. Now, if we think of our little baby at birth, our little baby is only interested in one thing, eating. So our first stage of psychosexual development is called the oral stage. In the oral stage, the body part where sexual, in other words, body gratification is focused is the mouth. And so the important task here is to gain nourishment and to also be weaned by the parent at an appropriate time. Now, let's suppose that the baby is weaned too soon. We will see anxiety later in life with the child, now an adult, doing things that such as smoking or sticking things like their fingernails into their mouth. And this shows the anxiety of an unresolved oral stage of psychosexual development. The next task that our baby must do is to be potty trained. And so the next stage where the baby has control of its body and receives bodily pleasure is the anus. And so the next stage is the anal stage of development. Gratification, sexual gratification, again meaning bodily pleasure, comes from the expulsion and retention of feces. In other words, to poop or not to poop, that is the question. And so, again, if this stage goes bad, we will see characteristics later in the child's life. If a child has a too strict potty training, we will see the child being anal retentive. Anal retentiveness has characteristics of being very stingy, being very fussy, being very strict with themselves and with others. So somebody who is anal retentive will have to have everything just so and be very, very timely, be very organized. On the other hand, if the potty training was very late, our baby, now a child, will have characteristics of anal expulsiveness, and these will last until and through adulthood. Those of you who had late and messy potty training have the characteristics of anal expulsiveness that show that you are a very messy, often late, often disorganized person. And this is a direct result of your being potty training in a very slack way. Our baby continues to grow, and as our baby is about 3 years old, the baby enters the phallic stage. Now the phallic stage is very important. The focus is on auto-stimulation of the genitals, in other words, masturbation. So our baby will be touching itself and seeking pleasure in that way. We call this stage for little boys the Oedipal stage and the Oedipal conflict, which is in the phallic stage. So the little boy will have extreme sexual attraction to his mommy. He will be in love with his mommy, but he has great fear. because daddy is the ultimate enemy in this stage. The little boy fears daddy, and he fears that daddy will steal mommy away from him. Little girls also go through the phallic stage. I didn't have quite the focus in my theory on little girls. This is a male-centric theory. Little girls would go through the electra complex. And in the electra complex, little girl would very much desire their daddy and fear their mommy. But this stage, the phallic stage, is very important for psychosexual development. The next stage I called the latency stage, and in the latency stage we see a period of sexual calmness. The outward theory or the outward expression of sexual urges is not seen. These are hidden, they are latent, and the child focuses more on relationship with friends, usually gained through school. The last stage of psychosexual development is the genital stage, and once again, the focus is on sexual gratification from the genitals. But instead of the masturbation that we saw in the phallic stage, our child here is establishing mature sexual relationships. So there you have it. You have my psychosexual theory of development. Now, I must admit that some of the colleagues said that I had an obsession with sex. I would deny that. I would say that is just not true. Some even said that I had an oral gratification with a phallic symbol being anything that is long and cylindrical. They even claimed that my love of cigars was trying to get oral gratification with a phallic symbol. But one of my most important quotes is, "Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar."